the Sad Dads Club podcast. Here's everybody's favorite sad dads, Jim and Boo.
That's not going to bother me. Will that bother you? That doesn't bug me.
Not the daddy long legs. It's the skeeters that want to land under Peter.
Although I haven't seen
many tonight. Just that big
Did
guy.
we blow through their little harvest season already?
Maybe the heat is kicking them out.
Could we? I think I saw one or...
Maybe all the water.
I'm cool with the birds because usually sometimes the birds will... Although I am honestly surprised that they're not prolific.
The skeeters?
Yeah.
Well, I think...
Is a mosquito like... For me, you've seen me. I can't stand those fucking deviant little shits.
Well...
Are you that way with any other bug?
Mosquitoes in general, but I don't like spiders either.
I don't have any...
Or pincher bugs.
Really?
Yeah.
I was out here with Piper Monday? She had Monday and Tuesday off.
Mm-hmm.
It must have been Monday. And she was backing out the car, and I was pulling up or pulling down the trash can.
I'm glad it was a trash can.
One of the big, like a big bumblebee thing, the big black fuzzy bumblebee.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it just came up like right off the little shrub right out here.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they're noisy too.
Total maverick fly by my nose, and I kind of just, I'm nonplussed about it. I'm not afraid of bees or whatever.
Don't let
and
it
she's freaking the fuck out. I'm like, take it easy, Tiger. It buzzed me, not you.
Well,
I'm not that way with.
I'm like that. Even though I fucking hate them, I have learned to like zen myself and be like, no, that's cool. They don't care about me. But really inside, I'm probably dying 1,000 deaths.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm just like, fucking get away from me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Lower brain functions are like, start pumping the adrenaline now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Where's your shotgun?
Yeah. DEFCON 4. Go.
Exactly, dude.
Do we show this on the outside? Absolutely not. But raise his heart rate now. Yeah. Do it.
And it's funny because when the kids do something like what you're saying with Piper, I'm like, they don't care about you. And inside I'm dying.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look at the exits. Where are the exits? How fast can we just beat the kid?
Yeah. Can I just close the garage door on it?
Maim the kid, then run.
Yeah. That's all you
your
have to
plan.
Do, is be faster than the slowest guy, right?
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, hey.
Push one down and go.
Yeah, I don't have to be worried about it catching me if it's snacking on you.
Exactly.
Fucking flat tire. Bye, bitch.
And those big bees, those big black bumblebees, I in my mind, I just picture them like with a fucking sword coming out of their ass, and like just savagely stabbing you with it. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
die, bitch.
We've got a murder scene. It's this bee like, what?
Huh?
I didn't like that guy.
I caught last couple days to just completely unwind and get out of doom scrolling. I'm catching like my full intake of like fail meme compilations, whatnot on YouTube. Yeah. And I got put onto this one that was marriage fails. And the amount of douchebag grooms on like shorelines with waves encroaching upon your like nuptials is astounding. Like the amount of like dudes just straight up peace outing as their bride gets waylaid.
So what are they like holding the wife?
We're standing there like face to face, hands in hands,
and then the big one, the big set comes in.
Yeah, fucking the Taiwan fucking tsunami starts rolling in, and these dudes are like, looking at the crowd, and the fucking pastor or whoever is behind them, kind of like, and
the people in the front row. Yeah, the people in the front row's eyes.
Silver dollared eyes, and the groom just straight up. I mean, it's more than one. It's like, you guys are fucking. How fast is your bride to be gonna move in a dress with a tail train, 12-foot train?
Yeah,
not fast.
That's the whole point.
And the bride is getting bowled over. It's straight up riptide shit. You know, like
swim to the side.
God damn, you guys are assholes.
Brutal.
And that reminds me of this. We were in a talk with, God, this is years and years and years ago. And it was if a friend that lives over by you, Rob and Ariana, it was someone in like an apocalypse thing. And it was like, who'd be the first person to die?
Uh-huh.
And good friend Rob was like, Jay'd be the first one to die. And I went, fuck you, bitch. What?
Really?
I got a plan. He's like, you'd be the one to stand in the doorway while everyone else got the fuck out. You'd be that dumbass. You would die first because you would take one for the team so that everyone else got out. And I went, well, I appreciate that.
Not if your mom's in the way.
Yeah. But surely there's a cousin or an aunt or an uncle that I would straight up Achilles and we'd be okay.
Yeah. You just got to be faster
I'm
than
like,
the
I
slowest.
appreciate the thought, but you underestimate my willingness to lay out a next of kin.
I mean, I may not be the fastest guy, but I can manufacture a slowest guy. You know what I mean?
I mean, and it'll look like an accident.
Right.
I assure you.
When all is said and done and the tornado's gone.
You're like, did anyone see that log come out of nowhere and trip Aunt Margaret?
Yeah.
No. Weird. But we're all safe, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dad. You're welcome.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
she was the pain anyway.
Yeah, no one liked her.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they were only around because she bakes cookies. That's it.
Yeah, that was it. No big deal.
Yeah.
Speaking
So-
of treats,
Treats.
welcome to Sad Dad's Club Podcast, episode 183.
It's always a treat, right? 183, I believe.
183, 184.
Yeah.
I'm the Lord Fu.
And I'm Jim.
And you've got something ready to go.
Well, I mean, joined a gym. You
Yes.
joined the same gym.
Yes.
Have you been? You haven't been going.
I've been short on
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
but I want to go.
I saw you did a workout on my Apple Watch. It showed up,
We
and you went on a walk.
went on a walk
Yeah.
yesterday. We were Xander had an open house that he said we had nothing to see there, and we were going to walk. And he said, "There's nothing really for you to see." And Venus and I went, "Yeah, really? Like you don't want to show us anything?" He's like, "No, not really, no." And we went, "Well, fuck." And I went, "Let's go for a walk anyway." She's like, "Okay." So that was
Yeah.
we went for a walk anyway.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, so I've been going pretty religious. I think typically Wednesday is the only day I don't go, but Saturday we ended up getting busy and never made it.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm fine with that because you know why? I've been working hard
yeah.
and my body fucking hurts. I'm a 50-year-old guy that is way the fuck out of shape, but I have been working hard. I'm telling you what, man, I don't know that I've ever seen that much liquid come out of a human ever in my life. I sweat so much. It is disgusting. I had to go buy a workout towel
Yeah.
just to wipe my face and neck.
So would you say that is
It's gross.
like an always thing, or is this an as you've been older? Like when you played soccer, high school youth, and then outside of high school, were you a prolific sweater?
I don't think I was I mean, I sweat, but I don't
But
think
not
I
to
was,
the point where you are now, where you're making jokes about being a hot mop kind of thing.
I don't think so. Not that I remember.
Okay.
I mean, I remember playing soccer and being sweaty after a game.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you just-
yeah.
It just ran for 90 minutes.
But
or
now
whatever.
you've made a whole bunch of good jokes about how sweaty you get.
Oh, my-
So I'm something tells me we've
I mean,
reached a new
either
tier.
it's just because I'm a fat guy, right? Or I'm not sure.
okay.
But if sweat was like the thing that you got rid of to get skinny, shit, that would be
yeah.
awesome. But I don't think that's how it works.
It's carbon dioxide.
I know, you breathe it out.
Right.
I
yeah.
did some research on it, and
Isn't that fascinating?
oh, it blew me away because I always thought somehow your body just burns fat or something. But what ends up happening is you actually exhale it,
yes.
and that blows my mind.
Right. I mean, you're losing water
Yeah.
as a dehydration. So
Yeah.
are you going to lose water weight? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But as far as losing weight on a long-term basis, the thing that you're losing as you exercise, as you eat better, is carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So your body converts the fat to carbon dioxide. You breathe it out.
Yep.
And that is why, and I didn't really understand. I mean, it's all a mystery to me. Okay.
Science is hard.
It is. It's very difficult. But that's the thing. Like, cardio is a big deal. That's the reason why cardio is a big deal, because you get breathing and your heart's pumping. And man, I've been doing strictly elliptical. I haven't done treadmill. In the elliptical, I like it because it's no impact or low impact, and you're working your arms and your legs. And sometimes, sometimes when your legs get tired, you can kind of, get you through it with the arms.
Yeah.
And I like that because now you're really pushing both sides.
Yeah.
And there have been multiple times where I've been on that damn machine and just wanted to give up. Just like, I'm done. I can't go any further, and just push myself.
The elliptical for me is that I'm not gifted in any particular sport.
Yeah.
I'm coordinated. I get on an elliptical and I feel like a fucking clown. Like that is the most, for me.
Yeah.
As someone who runs, stride is not an abnormal form. I get on an elliptical and I feel like I'm just a giant toe, like with a T-Rex arms trying to figure out how to. It's so awkward for me. I'm like,
it definitely took me maybe 2 or 3 nights of really pushing to get the rhythm down and
that's
to like
fair.
make it feel
I
fluid.
believe that's yeah. And it's certainly way lower impact than a treadmill.
So that's what I was noticing from the treadmill. I would be sore, but in a different way. Like all my ankles and my ankles and my knees would be tender, and I didn't really care much for that. I'm like, I don't want to beat myself up. I just want to work out.
Yeah.
And starting to see the benefits.
Good.
Honestly, it makes me happy. In fact, I didn't realize today was Wednesday for a long time. And then I had been looking forward to going to the gym today, which I would have never said that before.
I agree. It's almost come like a certain. I mean, we've talked at length on shows before. Like, I want to get there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, nose hair. I want to get there.
Yeah.
I'm struggling for the time.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel like a burden task to me. It's just, I got to find that time. I got to find the window. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
I enjoy my time there. I need to work harder at trying to get there, but I agree. I look forward to the opportunity when I'd been going.
Like our typical routine would be, when I get off work, we go to the store and get stuff for dinner. We make dinner, and then we kind of digest for a bit.
Oh, yeah. Because they're doing that on a tummy full of... would be...
Yeah, and then we'll go around 8:15 or so.
And Shan's going with you.
And she's going with me.
Does she do the same stuff as you?
She does the treadmill. She's been pounding away on the treadmill.
Good.
And she's tearing it up. She's like inclined and like she's going.
Sweet.
Yeah, she's working too. And it's been good. We've been, man, I get off that machine though, and I am drenched in sweat.
Yeah.
Completely. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting.
You're the guy that they made the wipe down rules for because you leave it drenched.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I don't know about. I mean, there are times where it's just dripping off of me. But what are you gonna do?
Well, I mean, as long as
I clean the machine when I'm done.
Yeah, you're being proactive about it.
But it feels good. I'm like happy I'm doing it. It's not like there's. Although I will say, there's nights where, like I was saying a bit ago, there was one night like, man, I was sore. My body was achy. Just didn't feel like I could really go.
Yeah.
Got on there and started going. And it was just everything I could do to motivate myself to keep going. And there were countless times I'm just like, I'm done. I can't go anymore. I can't go. And I just pushed myself, just kept going until
that's awesome.
Because I'll set the time on the thing with the 5-minute cool down, and I'll go for 30 minutes with a 5-minute cool down. And I've been changing the level, so I've been kind of working it. I'll work into 3 and then come back to 2 and then go back to 3, and we'll see how that goes. But I feel like I never really understood, like, well, what should I put the machine on? Well, I kind of get it more now that I've been doing it.
Yeah.
You just got to listen to yourself. You got to listen to how your body feels like over time. Do you feel like you beat the shit out of yourself, or do you feel good?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, though, working out in the day, holy crap. We went Saturday in the daytime, in the morning. That was the best workout I ever had.
Really?
Oh, my gosh. It was night and day difference between going after working all day and making dinner and all this other stuff, and then working out when you're a little bit tired, to getting up in the morning and doing a couple things and then going to the gym. Man, what a difference in how I felt at the gym.
Okay.
Yeah, just like...
How about that carry for the rest of the day? Did you feel more energized, or was it just that you walked into the workout feeling more ready to do it?
I didn't feel like I was as tired, because we went...
Well, yeah, end of the day, right?
Yeah, I mean, we did a whole bunch of stuff afterwards, and then we ended up going out with some friends, and didn't ever feel like I was exhausted. You know what I mean? But we'll come home at night, like after a whole day of stuff, and then go work out at 8 or 9 or whatever time it is. And we'll come home and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I mean, that stands to reason, right?
Yeah.
You've put in a full day of stuff.
Yeah.
And now, see, I did
the
see
birds.
a mosquito.
Oh.
You put in a full day of stuff.
Yeah.
And then you're tacking something on. Bottom line is, we're not spring chickens.
Oh, true.
So we're gonna feel it. We're gonna feel it, and then your body's gonna tell you, And I think that's the great point of listen to your body. Like being young, was different, right?
Yeah.
Go. Holy shit, I'm sore. 12 hours later, go.
Yeah.
Now it's, I do have to take a break because the whole healing of muscle fibers, protein buildup, how your body is processing the joint pain or, some new movement, and you kind of agitated something. In order to continue staying physically active, you have to, and that's part of the big dick machismo thing that's not there. It's like, I don't have anything to prove, but I do want to stay doing this for me, for my mental positivity of myself. I want to keep doing this. So, there's nothing that says I need to be at 11 today, tomorrow.
Well, speaking to that, there's nights where I come in and I'm just like, I'm going to take it easy. I don't need to go hard. As long as I'm here and doing the thing, like I will have done a workout and I'll feel good about that. And I'll get on and I'll start going, and maybe a song comes on or I feel better than I thought.
Yeah.
And then I just start going harder.
Punch it.
And, And that kind of surprises me because, like I said, I mean, I don't always go with the intention of going hard. Like sometimes just a workout is good enough.
Just to spin the wheels a little bit.
Just to make sure I get my blood, pumping, my heart rate up. But I end up finding out that like I actually feel better than I anticipated. Like I'm doing it. Okay.
Oh, it's there. I just had to
I don't
pull
feel
the cork out.
Yeah, I don't feel that bad.
Yeah.
Pull a stick out of my ass and let's go.
Yeah.
And I end up going harder than I ever thought, which is interesting to me. And I would have never.
That's, as Tony would say, those are the good new paths, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That conversation with Tony really was one of the factors, not the only, but one of the big factors on me, like, I need to do something different.
Yeah, you have to want that change. And the listening to your body stuff, there's a number of times when, going into that thing late last year with going to be racing or doing the half marathon with the boys. There were a number of those nights where I would go out and I would come back and I would be like, I just wasn't feeling it tonight.
Yeah.
I put the mileage in, but something was off. And you just kind of have to accept that, when you're as old as we are and you're training for something, it's not, sometimes you just don't get there. I mean, one of the last days where I went at lunch over and to do a run, I think I was on the treadmill for maybe 5 minutes, and usually I'll do a 15-minute run, and then I would go hit 3 or 4 of the circuit machines and do like a body zone or something. In my 5 minutes into my treadmill run, it felt like my heart was off rhythm or something, and it was just like something's. I'm just not gonna. I'd pull the plug. I'm like, something's not square here today. Maybe I've got like when your chest wants to like pop a knuckle at your sternum or something.
What?
You don't do that sometimes? Like you take a big deep breath and your
hit it with a sledgehammer.
Sternum goes.
No,
really?
I don't think that's supposed to move, is it?
Yeah, it's like a cartilage thing. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so some things you push through because it's a mental block.
Yeah.
And some things you need to listen to your body because there's a physical oddity that you're probably just need to pay attention to.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's good to see, right?
Yeah.
Like we said, we talked with Chandler about it, like creating a new pattern of just go, just get there. It's good that Shan's going too, because, right, that's, you help feed each other's, like, I don't know, but I don't want to let her down. And maybe she's
it's
like,
but
I don't want to let him down.
We're not even there.
Really?
No, we're not there at all. It's literally like, we're going.
Oh, good.
Yeah, no one has gone, I don't want to.
Not tonight.
No.
Good. Even better. That's awesome.
Yeah. Chandler on the whole another front, that dude is going nuts. He was there, I want to say he was there like an hour and a half easy yesterday. And this is now kind of become a daily thing where he's at the gym quite a bit and he's working his ass off. He did an hour alone on the stair stepper yesterday.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That's a lot of calories.
Yeah, it was like almost 1,000 calories, I think.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And he wants to work it off, he definitely wants to. And I do too. I'm just not as young as I used to be, so it's going to take more time.
An hour is
30 minutes. I can do 35 minutes.
Yeah.
40 minutes probably. I can roll into 40 minutes. But an hour on the stair stepper. Yeah.
And there's at our age, I mean there's science there, right? So there's going to be diminishing returns at some point.
Yeah.
Cardio for weight loss will only get you so far until you start also adjusting rest, right? Sleep,
right,
and diet. And even then, at some point, strength training will help also burn fat and replace. Will help. It's almost like a double-edged sword. It'll help replace fat and
building muscle,
right? And the dietary things it takes to do that help catalyze a diet shift as well. And then you do cardio and fascinating space. I just picked up a book that I haven't started. It was recommended from a Destiny guy who also does the the Spartan races. It's kind of like CrossFit. It's like a steeplechase type of thing. So they run through mud and they're crawling and they're holding like cement bags and they'll do rope shit and like really heavy kettlebells. Anyway, it's like a CrossFit steeplechase all rolled into one.
Yeah.
Someone was doing exercise, but they were talking about how they were having trouble losing weight. They had like almost hit a plateau. Like I do cardio and I stay active, and I kind of not a strict diet, and they're not on a diet, but they do eat healthy. They had reached a plateau in their body image. They hadn't started to lose any more weight, and they're like, I've been doing this for X amount of time, and I'm not seeing anything anymore. And the gentleman had recommended this book. Shit. Damn it. It's like a 4-letter word, and it's about metabolism, the science of metabolism, and how the things that you can do to understand your own body's metabolism, because fad diets may work for a time for a wide swath of body types, but then we'll reach a plateau. Exercise of a certain type, cardio, will work for a large amount of body types for a certain amount of time until you reach a plateau. And then you have to start looking at, okay, so how do I learn more about me and my body physiology to then, okay, so it's processed sugars, or it's refined sugars, or it's these type of vegetables don't work with my diet because yogurts, dairy,
right.
And he had like a bunch of, I'm like, fuck, I bought it. I haven't cracked it yet. But because it's like one of those things for me, like I will eat that up, especially if I can start treating diet and the science of my own metabolism to help make better efficiency of the time that I have to not only be more body positive in my head, but also reflect it in my body.
Yeah.
Fascinating. So I can't wait to open it. I'll put it in the link in the description down below.
One of the things that Chandler has been doing is buying protein.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, I guess, a bunch of research on his own. And what is that? What are they called? BCAAs or those?
Yeah.
So
block-chain amino acids.
Yeah. So he's got those.
Yeah.
A couple of big containers.
Yeah, I have.
And he's been doing that. Now I'm kind of wondering, because he feels like he stalled, if too much protein, and I don't know how any of this works because I have never given a rip. But if too much protein or too much is working against you at some point, I don't know if too much protein
totally depends. And I'll tell you, one of the last things towards the tail end of marathon training last year, because I have tubs of protein as well that I would use as like a meal replacement. So generally it's got enough to replace a meal, but it takes it's almost like going to the gym. It'll take time to your body to get used to, but I eat this much mass in a meal, and that's like what my body, like chewing mechanisms are used to. But when I can pound a drink in 30 seconds and I've completed my meal, I feel like I should still be hungry. So then you go snacking for something.
Right.
Anyway, so I have, whey, BCAA, like a tub of things for training. I swapped to a vegan. It's an all plant-based protein. That took an adjustment, but that also seemed easier on my tummy, like as far as like.
Well, what's non-vegan about those? I mean, what's in them?
Like pea protein.
Pea protein?
Are you saying versus like a meat-based protein or dairy-based protein?
Well, what are the proteins in the non-vegan ones?
Whey, so like a dairy protein.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Versus plant-based proteins like a pea or whatever, some legumes and shit.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not into that really so much. I'll replace with like sugar-free, like Gatorade or something. You know, if I'm not drinking water, then I'll do some, like I'll put a packet of one of those in here, sugar-free Gatorade.
Yep.
And what I like about that is Gatorade makes you want to drink it, right?
Yeah.
That's like its thing. It feeds it. It makes you want more of it as you drink it.
Yeah. It hits like a Well, I mean,
Yeah,
there's some taste science there, so it
Yes.
makes you want to.
Yeah. So I will kill a 20-ounce Gatorade versus a water, which I just sort of,
Right.
and I do like that. I like that I get the electrolytes out of it and the fact that it's sugar-free.
Mm-hmm.
I don't necessarily have to have it. I'm just as good getting a water, but man, that Gatorade, there's something satisfying about drinking a Gatorade.
Yeah. You know what's crazy? We talk about low impact exercises. And I haven't had access to a deep pool in a long years.
Oh.
And I haven't been to a gym that had it where I gave fucks since I think Venus and I were probably living in Auburn. But hashtag hey Grant. Grant and I used to go to a gym up in Auburn, and treading water is a fascinating full body cardio that you don't think is like water polo. So we would sit in the deep end of a pool, like neck deep in water, and just tread water for 15 minutes at a whack. Talk about kicking your ass fast. It's good shit.
I want to say, it was in high school, and I don't remember what year it was, but we did swimming. We had a pool that we could do swimming.
Yeah.
And one of the things we did is we had a diving pool, right, with a big diving board or whatever.
Yeah.
And they would throw us into the diving, not throw us, have us get into the diving pool, and which is, I don't know, 20 feet deep or some shit, right? It's really deep. And that was one of the things you had to do.
Tread water?
Was tread water for, I don't know, most of a class time. So that was, and it was interesting to see people dropping out of that. It was really interesting, like, oh, that guy's going to do well, and then nope.
Yeah.
I
mean, I hate swimming. I'm a terrible swimmer, but the treading water will teach you quick.
Yeah.
And there's
there's some efficiency loss.
There's some fear in water because you're encapsulated in something. So a lot of the physicality
is just making sure you don't die.
Is making sure you don't die. Like what the moment you get like a fucking self-waterboarding moment, I'm sure all bets are off. You're like, nope, I'm grabbing the side and fuck this.
Now, okay, so let's talk about that because swimming for you, where did you learn how to swim? What was your...
We didn't. Like I had...
Interesting, okay.
We didn't have a pool up in the country. And so my introduction to like swimming water was like being at a lake or reservoir in the area. And
so you didn't have like swim lessons?
No, I did not.
Okay.
There's no.
So I think that's interesting because that sort of ties into what you're talking about. So for myself, the neighborhood I grew up in had a community pool. And so the HOA fees paid for the community pool. And so every summer, when I was a kid, you would go down and take lessons at the community pool. And so that's how I learned to swim. And I was always a really good swimmer. And I remember playing sharks and minnows or some shit like that. I don't know, whatever game it is where you have kids on one side of the pool and the kids coming from the other side, and the kids on the one side of the pool have to cross and get to the other side of the pool without getting tagged.
Okay.
And we would play this in the deep end.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we were kids. And I would never lose. I would never be the one that had to catch somebody because I would literally just dive in and swim to the bottom of the deep end and just
skim it
and then all the way back up to it. Never get caught once.
Yeah.
I never got caught. So when you're talking about that feeling of having the water, that like is not for me personally, that isn't even like a concern. I don't even think about it that way.
So I don't know how many people know this. So
oh no,
we were up.
Hey, we're only on a podcast.
We were young. It was one of the trips that we did to Shasta. So like I said, country kid, no access to pool. The ponds that I was in region to were things that you fished in. You weren't swinging them. the creek right by Dad's house, you could see the bottom.
Right.
We were at Shasta, and
No friends had pools or anything?
yes, but you could stand, so
Okay.
there's no real, and you could see the bottom. So the visuals. So we were in Shasta, and jumped off a boat. I wasn't wakeboarding or
That's deep
anything,
water.
right?
Yeah.
Deep water, and dark. It's dark water.
Yeah.
You can't see the bottom. And I think, in hindsight, it was probably just a bush, like a bush.
Yeah.
But I kicked something, and
It scared you.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I think that's always been like one of those back of my mind. You can't see the bottom. What was that? And it was probably just a fucking tree underneath the water. I mean, the lake level was down. It was there probably wasn't some fish that was nibbling on my toes, but it could have been.
Yeah.
But scarred, young person, scarred. I want to get back in the boat as fast as possible. Generally, as just like a thing. I have no problems wakeboarding. I have no problems being on a boat. But if I'm kneeboarding or wakeboarding or on a tube, I really want to be on the thing.
Minimal time in the water.
Minimal. Yeah, hit it. Yeah, hit it. As fast as, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's get me up and out of the water. Jumping,
Interesting.
falling, crashing, don't mind. But I would really like the boat to come back and pick me up, and let's get back up out of the water as fast as possible.
I had a natural waterway scare one time. So we used to skimboard a lot.
Okay.
And even living in Sacramento growing up, you could skimboard here. Did you know that?
No.
There was a beach that was on the American River that we called Chris Thomas's Beach, and we named it after a friend of ours. And we used to go there, and it was down near, short of Sac State. And you would park in this neighborhood and literally go between the houses and climb over the fence, and you would end up in the American River Parkway. And then you go up onto the trail, which was like the paved trail, and you walk down it a little bit. And then there was a trail off that went towards the river. And there was a beach back there. And the beach was sandy. It was beautiful. And the water was nice and shallow, and you could skim this beach.
Oh, wow.
It was awesome. We used to go there all the time. We had a blast. There would be other people there that we didn't know that were there skimming too.
Yeah.
So it was like a known thing in the skimboarding sector.
Okay.
So we would go there all the time. Well, this is part of the American River Parkway, right?
Mm-hmm.
So close to where the beach is, you had to climb up over this hill, and the river was on the other side of the hill. So this was just little waterways that were off of the main river.
All right.
So you go over to where the river's at, and the river is flowing. There's a lot of water moving through that river. And in the middle of the bigger river, there is an island. And we were always curious about, is there something on the island? Is there trees and bushes and shit?
Treasure.
Yeah. Well, what? Is there anything on it? And so, we're probably high school. And we swam, and the river's moving. So as you're swimming, you're getting pulled downstream. We get across to the river, find out it's fucking nothing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're just exploring, being, taking a break from skimming. Let's go see what's on the island.
Okay.
So it comes time to come back, and I never really thought much about it, but I'm swimming back, and at one point I come up, and there is a branch that is probably 3 to 4 inches around that is sticking up out, not quite out, just below the surface of the water. That is sticking, so it's rising towards oncoming water.
Okay.
So it's poking towards upriver, and the river's flowing over it. And if that thing had caught me the right way, I would have just got trapped by that fucking branch and drowned.
Oh, okay.
That scared the fucking shit out of me.
Yeah.
That moment, in its natural,
you were that close.
I was that close to it. It literally scared me to the point to where I never did that shit again. because it was something totally unseen under the water. You wouldn't know it was there. It's not like it was going to bite me, but had I hit it wrong or had it jam me in the face or something like that, I would have got pulled down along that thing towards the bottom while the river is pushing you. Right. And it put some fear in me.
Put the fear in you.
Yeah, that was scary.
Yeah.
Finally made it across and was like, fuck, did anyone else see that tree branch sticking up right there? That was some skin. And everyone was like, no, I didn't see it. But man, it put some fear in me. That was scary. I totally feel that. The other one was, we were in Maui one time and we were going to the Molokini Crater to do snorkeling, and you're out on a boat in the waterway. Yeah. The water is beautiful blue. And I started thinking about, this is really fucking deep right here. Yeah. It's really, really deep. Yeah. It is. The water is as blue as you could, tidy bowl blue. That's how blue that water is. And I thought, oh, that would be weird to just be like treading water out here in the middle where it's just deep like that, because what the hell's underneath me? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like the thought process of hypotheticals, like
there is nothing below me.
There's nothing there.
It is feet and feet and feet of water.
Have you ever been lost in a riptide? Like genuinely caught in a riptide where you had to circle out?
No.
Did you?
SoCal,
like somewhere before we moved up here. So 4th, 5th grade. We were just,
those are sketchy.
Southern California beach. I couldn't tell you where. And my sister and I were fucking around it just right where it was. You would think nothing. Yeah. And pulled out and no control. Yeah. No control. Like the forces of nature were like, nice try. That's cute.
Yeah. Keep struggling, buddy.
Well, you're waiting this one out. And then you get one wayward thing of salt water and then panic. Like, get everything, and you're gagging on the salt water, and then everything goes sideways fast.
There's waves just keep coming in. You just keep getting sucked
nonstop.
out. There's a solution to, and I don't know if you didn't know this as a kid, you swim out to the sides.
Yeah.
But if you don't know that, you just know you're trying to get back to the quickest way, which is straight ahead.
I got like
scary.
A lucky break, and I got like a punch through. Like found my 11th whatever, like, because I was in a fucking panic. That probably in the Shasta thing, like
fuck oceans.
Which is funny because I really enjoy when we've been to Hawaii. I enjoy like surfing on the long boards right there near the shores. I enjoy I enjoy the shit out of snorkel. I enjoyed Molokini. Yeah. Had a great time. Water that I can't see the bottom of, it definitely gives me apprehension. Like I'm glad I'm wearing a life vest, and I'll tend to like kick or randomly just out to the sides every once in a while, like whoop, whoop. Nothing's getting ready to chew on me as bait. Like fucking, I don't want any part of that. I don't want to fuck around with this. Like let's go.
Did you when you were at Molokini? Did you see any sharks swimming around? Cause
no,
we did. There were quite a few sharks darting around like around the bottom.
I'd be getting to the boat. I'd be like, you know what? The odds are probably really slim. There's a ton of people here. He probably doesn't want any part of it, but I'm a new dad. I'm getting on the boat.
There's like 9 boats backed in there, right?
Yeah. Nah, I'd be, I'm not fucking around.
They weren't big ones. And they weren't the kind that eat people.
Yeah. Well, it only takes one to make a mistake.
That's true. What's this?
Hey.
Oh,
this one's got something I like genetically.
This one smells like it's got some.
He doesn't look like he could club that old lady fast enough, and I'm just going to eat his leg.
There you go. No, that
swimming down and beating on a clown.
Dude, I feel that, though, from the Shasta perspective, and, like, I felt that at the river that day. That was frightening.
Yeah.
I don't trust rivers now. I don't trust them.
Yeah, that's we didn't, and up here in a lot of river walks.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't, because everything's usually so cold coming out of Tahoe.
Mm-hmm.
God, the lake stuff and river stuff was generally like rock bounding along the sides and like goofing off and looking for nudies and whatnot.
Right.
Boobies. But the water was generally like, you'll wade in it right there at the shore, but not too many times. Because for me, it was like, well, once I can't see the bottom, I don't want any part of that.
Well, I remember going to Yosemite, because we used to go to Yosemite every summer for about a week at a time. And I remember there's a bridge in Yosemite called Stoneman Bridge.
Okay.
And it's right when you come into the main Yosemite Valley stuff, like Curry Village is on the right, and if you go left, you go to like Yosemite Village.
Okay.
There used to be two campgrounds. Right when you turn left there were two. You go over Stoneman Bridge, and there was a campground on the right and a campground on the. We always stayed in one of those couple of campgrounds.
Okay.
And that Stoneman Bridge, because there was always a ton of people camping right there, there was always people jumping off of Stoneman Bridge into the Merced River. And if you've ever been in the river, oh, damn. I remember just creeping your feet into the water, and it was like your feet wanted to cramp up.
Oh.
So I can't imagine
getting all the way up in it.
Oh, jumping off of the bridge into that frigid water. Oh, gosh. I mean, that would just be so cold, Now, I people were doing it. I was always leery, and it's like one of those things where you can see stuff in the bottom, not clearly because it's kind of green.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
No.
There are a number of like swimming, jumping holes, like along, and we would do those, but for me, really, it was about, well, can I see the bottom?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's this fork of the river is slow. It creates a pool right here. I can see the bottom,
right?
Because man hasn't polluted this one yet, And
well,
I know, all right. And I would
just go to Folsom. Look how dirty that shit is.
Right, Folsom, and that's the thing about Folsom too, because I've wakeboarded and boated, tubed in Folsom, but when you see, and kayaked, when you see the lake go up and down and the amount of shrubs and shit that are in there, especially when the lake starts to get full, which is few and far between anymore, all I see are these little triggers of me being in Shasta and like, hey, the next time I'm out at Folsom and maybe I'm on a jet ski or I'm wakeboarding with someone, I'm going to hit one of those branches and I'm probably going to fucking freak out. Like I know, right? That was a branch, right? It's not some Folsom sea monster.
Right. Well, there's sometimes so little water in there and nothing would survive.
Yeah.
A couple of fish flapping around.
Yeah.
It's weird to think like Folsom's a reservoir, so its main goal is to like temporarily store water, right?
Right.
That water's never there long enough to settle out and like become clear. It's just it's in and it's out.
Yeah.
It's like constantly, and it's gross. I remember going there when we first moved to the Sacramento area and like, ew, this isn't like the ocean. And the ocean's not clean.
Right, yeah.
But like, ew.
Yeah.
Oh.
I get, is the dam is it have enough pull to like, we really shouldn't get any closer. What's the suction on that? I don't want to fuck around with that at all.
That was the I don't know if you had ever been out to Folsom when there was like it was a few years ago when there was no water in the dam at all.
Mm-hmm.
You could walk from
Beals? People,
is it from Beals' side? Yes. We parked at Beals and you walk down right in front of the dam and it's like you're standing on the bottom of the lake.
Yeah.
And there's literally sort of like a creek running to the dam.
I would have loved
That was
to have seen
bizarre, man. That was the weirdest sensation to be there right in front of the dam. Whoa.
Yeah.
That's weird. It's sad.
Yeah.
Sad to see it like
lately, I wonder where it's at now.
that. I don't know. You should take a Jeep out there. What? You don't have a Jeep to take?
No, I don't have no Jeep. I saw an interesting a video about this guy. You've talked about it a few times before on like one of the automotive channels you've watched, where a guy has a really good thought process. Right, like his troubleshooting process.
Oh yeah, the South Main Auto channel.
This was who is it? I think it was Donut Media's channel. And how I haven't caught one of these episodes is beyond me. But one popped into my feed this afternoon on lunch, and it was a Jeep that they bought used, and it was, if you can fix it, if you can start it and pull it out of the garage.
Oh, I saw that.
You
I
get
didn't
to,
watch
you get
it,
to
though.
keep it.
Okay.
And I went, oh, fascinating. And I think the thumbnail even like loosely just has like the picture of the Jeep, and it was like, we have the quick synopsis was a viewer of the channel. We've invited a viewer of the channel to come in to the garage, and if they can fix this used Jeep that we bought, you start it and drive it out of the garage, then they can keep it.
Now, is it a situation where they knew what was wrong with it?
Right.
Or
So
they broke it on purpose?
It ran when they bought it,
Okay.
and they do a couple of things to set
so
up
you gotta
the
have
fix.
you gotta have the chops.
Right.
Yeah.
So and the whole thing was that you get 2 hours
Oh.
to
Just to fix it or to diagnose it?
to start it.
Oh.
You have to fix the things that they've
in 2 hours.
deliberately tweaked.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So and I got probably like maybe 30 seconds into it, just like their intro, and I went, oh, how fascinating. Like, imagine being approached with that type of, like, what would you run through? Like, I think I caught it at the tail end of my lunch, so I could only watch like the first minute or so of. So we'll walk you through, like, as he starts to like throw out ideas of the things that he thinks wrong. We have all the parts that he's going to need for everything that he guesses wrong. We take 10 minutes off his time.
Wow.
But if he says, "I need a blah," we give it to him, and then he has to do the thing. He has to put it in or replace or whatever it was.
That's really interesting.
And then they said, and we'll loosely describe, what the thing does that we pulled out. So they invite the guy out, and he comes out, and you don't know, they don't give any credentials. Like, it doesn't sound like he's a mechanic. He's just a guy that enjoys watching the channel. So they give him the key, and there's the whole shitload of their entire like staff is there to like, here we go.
See, that's intimidating right out of the gate.
So they're all chicken hawking the dude. So he gets the key, and he puts the key in, and he turns it over, and there's nothing happens. But also, if you listen really carefully, you don't hear any of like the tactile sounds of a key hitting as it goes over, and there certainly was no clicking, nothing on the dash.
So it was like a smooth.
It was a smooth thing. He's like, okay, so right off the bat, there's something wrong here, and there's nothing lighting up on the dash. I'm like, this is fucking fascinating.
Oh.
Like, imagine all the things you would run through. Like, fuse it. So he lifts up the hood, and he's looking at the fuse box, and he notices that there are some relays missing. So he asks for a relay, of the thing that's missing, and they said, no, that wasn't it. Apparently, the relays that weren't there were relative to a model that didn't tie to the one that he had.
Oh, okay.
So if he had like a Rubicon,
So the box was for a different model.
right? But he didn't know that,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
so if you're just, I mean, if you looked at my car, or probably even your car, there might be a slot for a relay
Yeah.
that's there, but that's not there.
Or sometimes even fuses.
right, because they're
Yeah.
probably interchanging some of these fuses and fuse boxes between cars.
Yeah.
And so, anyway,
Yeah.
so he guessed one relay, 10 minutes, and he's like, well, is it this other, some 4-lettered, 3-lettered relay? No, it's not that. So then he goes back into the cab of the Jeep, and he's turning the key, but you still don't hear the key do anything. So he takes apart the steering column, and he's looking at the wiring, and he's like, "Is it the actual ignition switch, like the switch at the turn?"
Yeah.
And yes, we have that. So what they did is they took out the ignition switch and they removed the ball bearings that, and they snipped a contact, so it definitely wouldn't work. That removed like the detent of the key locking at the accessory ignition and then turnover.
Sneaky bastards.
So he replaced that. And then he goes to turn the key, and the key does a thing, but there's no ignition. The starter doesn't kick over. So he gets under the Jeep, and he's looking, and he notices that the positive terminal on the solenoid of the starter isn't connected. So yes, the bolt for they go get him a bolt. He puts the positive on there. He goes back into the cab, turns the key, and you hear the starter turn over, but it doesn't spin the flywheel. The engine doesn't turn over. You hear the starter motor spin, but nothing happens at the engine. So then he goes back, and the relay, not the relay, but the cog that pushes out when you hit the starter and then hits the flywheel, they had cut it. So he needed a starter. So he's like, is a starter.
So it engaged, but it didn't turn it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it didn't engage. They removed its ability to even push out and hit and contact the flywheel at all. So he's like, is the starter as a whole, the starter's gone.
Yeah.
And so they bring out a brand new starter. He puts that in, and he goes back into the cab. Engine turns over. Woohoo! All right. Well, now you got to drive it out.
Oh shit!
You got to drive it out.
Now we know there's going to be a transmission problem.
So it's manual. So he wiggles stick, puts it in gear, and he kind of lurches it forward. Okay, so he's got contact. All right. So he gets like maybe a foot and a half, and you hear bang, clang, flip, 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 and Jeep stops. And he turns it off really fast, looks under, drive shaft.
Oh, damn.
So they had cut the U-joint of the drive shaft and then JB welded it.
Oh, damn.
So that way it would
stay there.
It looked solid until it had just enough torque to pull the Jeep in motion, and then it snapped. And he's like, the drive shaft is shot. I needed U-joint or drive shaft. The guy behind the camera like, hey, wheels that fucking drive shaft. He spends the rest of came down to like 30 minutes or so.
Oh.
Puts the drive shaft. He's on his own. He has to do it all on his own while they're chicken hogging it. Puts the drive shaft in. Kind of does like another once over. Gets on the Jeep, and now he's apprehensive because he can. I mean, I've never been in a car that blew its fucking drive shaft and then had it spin around for a moment where you realized, oh shit,
something's really broke.
It sounds like holy shit. So he gets in, starts it, puts it in gear, kind of does the I'm gonna blow the front transfer case or something, another drive, and he wheels it out past the garage door through a thing, and free Jeep.
Oh my god!
So he fixes it. I'm like, what a fascinating contest. I would love to do something like that. Like how fuses and wiring and then the starter.
Well, there's so many...
it wouldn't really work, you would think, on a lot of modern cars. Like some of the old know-how on specifically something in the mid 2000s. It's probably at the tail end of I need an OBD2 reader.
Right.
That era of a car in your 90s to mid 2000s is probably the end of fucking with something to where you wouldn't be like, I need to get on a computer or jack a computer.
Let's just put a really fucked up tune on it.
Yeah.
One that doesn't provide any spark.
Worst case, for something like that, you could pull off a fuel pack or igniter or something, and you'd be like, oh, is this but when you start fucking with the map, you'd be like,
well, there's only three things you need, right? In theory, you need spark, you need air, and you need fuel. That's the things that you need.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I mean that's a tough one to do properly, especially like you were saying with today's vehicles.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, they're getting
especially
some
things
crazy
that
shit out of.
Well, especially things that don't allow the car to move. Like, I don't know. I mean, if you mess with the exhaust or something, that's not going to prevent the car from moving.
Yeah.
It's going to be loud or something if you start it up.
We ran across this because in talking with my dad about older trucks and Jeeps and whatnot, I ran across this channel called Restored.
Mm-hmm.
It's a young gentleman and his dad. It's not preachy, but you can. It's the young guy looks like it's somewhere he went astray in life and then found God, kind of thing, and that's fine. Not too much of the episodes are dedicated to that, but they live out in Texas, and they work on shit that is, carburetors. We're talking 70s max,
right?
Things that are left on this one property,
pre-EFI,
right? This one property they're rusted out and grown over with weeds, rats, and shit living in it, and they go and tow these things out, and then try to start them with the least amount of replacing of parts.
Right.
They'll replace spark plugs and a belt if needed, and spark plug wires.
Yeah.
But they try to rejuvenate and start an inline six or a diesel as they found it. Like, fascinating amount of automotive mechanic knowledge about motors that how durable engines and cars were before they had all of these wires.
Right.
Like,
well,
to be able to move and recover something that had been locked and not used for 40, 50 years, they will start it and at least drive it, for a span. Well, fascinating.
That's a curious combination because while cars are more reliable now, right? Those old cars, while they weren't as reliable, like the parts weren't built as well or made in to be reliable necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
The engines and stuff, the core parts of those power plants are really well done.
Oh yeah, like, and I have nothing to refute that. I mean, some of the motors are just flat out gone, and that's fine. But they've pulled heads off and re-oiled a cylinder, and then a new gasket, put the head back on, and they'll get it to turn over and drive it. Like, their whole shtick is to then drive it from their shop to like their antique Conoco like gas station thing, like a eighth of a mile. It's a small thing, but they, like you're saying, the power plants in these vehicles are resilient beyond what I'd even thought, especially when you look at the external condition and the fact that they haven't been moved or started in decades upon decades.
Right.
The car body and the frames are losing their shit to rust. Would you do a cross-country trip in that car and that chassis? Probably not. But if the motor would make it, I guarantee you those motors of that era, especially, I mean, barring a full-blown piston or rod or something, the concept that I had that if you have a motor it hasn't been sitting, that you're going to have to do a complete rebuild just to make it work, to get it backed up to spec, I'm not necessarily of that mind. Like, when I look at the Z out here in the back and I think, well, I haven't started that thing, I'm probably going to have to, I would enjoy it either way, a complete motor takedown and then a rebuilt brand new pistons and rings and stuff. But I guarantee you that I mean, it was running when I parked it, so it's not like it's a shit motor. But the apprehensiveness I have about the health of it is almost non-existent. Or non-existent. I am very confident that it'd punch over, brand new fluids. It'd go gangbusters.
There's a YouTube channel called Legit Street Cars that I really enjoy, and he'll buy these shitty.
Is he the guy that put the blower on his wife's Cadillac?
Yes.
Yeah, I enjoy his stuff too.
Yeah, he's very thoughtful, and the way he explains how stuff works.
Yeah.
But he'll buy these old cars that have sat around that are like cars from his childhood that he thinks are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then find out after he makes the deal to buy them that they're pieces of shit. Well, one of the things that he does is if they've been sitting around for 10, 15, 20 years without being started, is he has a solution that he's come up with that he drops into the cylinders to let them soak, so that the rings will break free and the motor will turn. Because he'll try and turn the motors, and he said, normally they're not moving, so he'll put in the top of the cylinder whatever the solution is that he says is he's like, I should sell this stuff. It works that well, and he'll just let it sit for like a day, and then he'll come back and sure as shit that motor will turn. Yeah, and then he's on the path to starting it up.
That one channel, they'll use all kinds of soak a thing in diesel. Pour vinegar down the cylinders will help break loose rust, and obviously you drain it. They have some fluid, but it's not their own in-house. God damn it! I looked it up.
I forget what he uses.
It's something miracle oil. It's some lubricant. It almost sounds like on the caliber of sea foam. It's a lubricant that
with
you
a
can
cleaner.
You can burn it. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
But like a WD-40 of piston rings kind of thing. It's good for your cylinder. You can burn it. You can leave it in there. You don't have to drain it off, and it'll help break shit loose.
Yeah.
What? I didn't know fucking anything about. Where's all this stuff?
Yeah.
It's a fascinating channel, and my dad likes it because they're all cars of his era.
Yeah.
Like you can only watch so many of the guys that are rebuilding like Audi R8s and the fucking Lamborghinis. I'm like, rebuild a fucking 70s Chrysler something or an Impala or a fuck.
Well, I think the last thing he did this process to was a IROC Z from like 85 or something like that.
Those are that's still
that's in there.
Yeah. That's in there.
And it's fascinating to watch him work through that. But what he ends up finding is that while he can probably get it started and kind of running, that usually, because he's in Chicago, all of the underpinnings are completely rusted out. Those things are, if they've seen any Chicago winters, they are just hosed. That's why they call it the Rust Belt.
Yeah. And that's like the same thing with the Texas stuff. Like on occasion, they'll find something that's structurally sound still, but a lot of it is, hey, we got it to start, we got it from A to B, but in order to make this thing like roadworthy, there's a lot of metal fab that would be needed. It's not all of them, but it is a lot of them.
Right.
And you're like, yeah, but what a great project. The motor is okay.
Yeah.
Like you could work with that. You could work with that.
You could rebuild the motor.
Right.
But if your chassis is bad.
Right. Yeah. So in those cases,
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the benefits of California or Arizona, New Mexico. Right.
And I see that a lot on like Jeep forums and whatnot. It's like, is it a California Jeep? Yeah. It's like, oh, no, my Jeep's, it's for sale in New Jersey. No, thank you.
Yeah.
No, you fuckers out there salting your roads.
Yeah,
no.
Exactly. We don't have those problems here.
No. Yeah, from New York. No.
Well, that's we're kind of talking about stuff we watch on YouTube, but that South Main Auto channel, he's a mechanic. That's his shop, is South Main Auto.
Mm-hmm.
And, he brings these cars in and the customer's complaining about this or that. And he puts the car up on the lift. And we're talking about cars that are between 5 and 10 years old typically.
Mm-hmm.
And they are just rusted.
The fuck?
Oh my gosh.
God.
It's one of those things where he's like, well, I mean, we're going to do this repair as cheap as possible for the customer because this car probably only has another year or two left in it, kind of thing.
Right.
And it's like, that is bizarre. They're to the point there where cars are just disposable because you drive them in an area that gets salted.
God,
they just get that
crazy.
fucked up. Yeah. And he'll like walk around and show you where there's like holes in the shit. And it's like, what? Everything. And that's one of the big problems that he has to deal with is trying to get out bolts or nuts without busting shit.
Yeah.
And that is a huge problem. That's why they're always talking, you got to put heat on it, and spray it with some lube and penetrating oil.
Mm-hmm.
And man, that's fascinating because that's a world that we don't deal with here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You get a little bit of rust on your car. But
oh yeah. I mean, the Z has rust, but it's not because, I mean, it's, 72. It's going to have rust.
Maybe if you drove it to Tahoe, in the wintertime, over and over and over and over, you might. No, because they don't even salt there.
They don't salt.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is we're using, but they spray now something on the road that comes out of the nozzles on the back of it. And
yeah,
it's
I
like,
don't know what
they're like white stripes on the road, and it keeps it from freezing. Why don't they do that shit back there? Is it just too many roads?
I don't
too
know.
expensive? Salt's the best, most economical way.
I don't know.
It's interesting. You would think too that the salt would just tear up everything else. I mean, aside from all the cars getting rusted out, that it would be really bad for their environment.
I think it is. But maybe it's like, fuck it. It's New York.
Maybe.
I was in.
That's weird.
All the people that have nice cars to worry about don't drive on those roads.
They have a winter car and a summer car.
Yeah, they live out in the Hamptons.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's like, I feel like
Rinse off the Bentley.
I feel like we're counting our lucky blessings having cars that are from California here.
We are. Yeah.
Not having New York.
We're at time. Speaking of counting blessings.
Is it a blessing that we're at time?
Yes. Well, it's a blessing that you should return the cart.
You should check your oil, Tony.
Did you hear from Tony? Oh, yeah, we did.
Oh, you did.
And then, by the way, Tony contacted us, and his daughter's doing as good as can be. Long road ahead, but positive vibes.
Yeah, I think about Tony a lot. But he should still wash his hands.
Wear the mask.
And return the cart.
Get the shot.
And wash his ass.
And we'll catch you next week.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Do the kindness. We'll catch you next week.